This is the Union Audio Orbit.2 LE mixer. This is an unusual review for digital DJ tips. I mean, the name says it all, right? We're a digital DJing school and website. But DJing is a wide church. DJing is something that you can do on everything from your phone to old-fashioned turntables. And recently I've been DJing for fun on old-fashioned turntables, but with a very basic mixer that wasn't really bringing me any joy. And so when Union Audio said, do you want to take a look at this one? I jumped at it because it's the right size to fit in the mini setup I was using. And well, it definitely brings some of that joy, doesn't it? So in this short review, I'm going to be talking about this mixer from the point of view of a boutique use case, right? Someone like me who's interested in exploring the edges of DJing, maybe going back to how it's been done before, just for pure joy, not to prove any point, just because it's fun, right? So if that's you, if you like the idea of having a setup that's got a mixer like this in it, it's a rotary mixer, and of course there's a fantastic subculture of DJs who adore rotary mixers. We'll talk a tiny bit about that. Then watch on, because I'll tell you my thoughts on this, the Orbit.2 LE. Probably the smallest. I think it is the smallest in their range. I mean, it's tiny. Look at the size of my hands compared to it. That said, it's quite deep, as you can see from the back there. It's beautifully made. It's handmade. It's a United Kingdom built mixer. It's just clearly a labour of love, this thing. The knobs on it feel like, my dad used to work in a telephone exchange back, we're talking the 70s here, and they used to take us as kids when like the doctor's phones broke. He would be called out on a Christmas Day morning to go and play with the mechanical equipment in the phone exchange. And down there they had a big room where the operators worked that had gear that had these knobs on it. I'll never forget it. They've got a weight to them. They are all highly highly built to last forever kind of thing. This has got a feel of something that's over-engineered in the right way, because it's going to last a long, long time. And look at the colours on it. Look at the little VU meters with their kind of pearl glass on top here. Look at the Q buttons with the lights in them here, and the phono line buttons with the lights in those, and even the split Q button with its little light. It's beautiful. It's got a few little nods to modernity. So you've got your 8-inch socket on the top for your headphones, so you don't need an adapter anymore there. But really, the only other thing I'd say that isn't just built like a tank and totally classic about this is the only thing I don't really like about the build of it, which is this. It's the DC input for power. You've got a power brick with this, which does cheapen it a little bit. I'd like to have seen an IEC, a kettle lead input for the power around the back. But hey, at the end of the day, it's a tiny mixer, and maybe there wasn't room inside for the transformer there. But anyway, let's talk through the features of this, and then I'll talk you through what it's like to play with, and we'll have a little listen to the filters. You can get a version of this with effects in this part here, but for two reasons I didn't want to look at that one. Firstly, I think it cramps it, like, you know, these parts are here for a reason. But secondly, the idea of having effects on a mixer like this kind of, for me, isn't the object. For me, I want to strip it back to real basics. I use it to DJ with 7-inch vinyl, and I just want to be able to cut between the tracks, and that's what I can do with what we have here. Anyway, let's talk through the features. So for each channel, and these are the channels, forget the top for a second. For each channel, you've got a volume and you've got a filter, high pass filter. You've got a trim, and you've got an auxiliary send. The auxiliary send I'll talk about in a minute. So this is really what you've got. And it's pretty limited, right? There's no EQ there at all. There's no low pass filter. So if I just get some music playing in the background, I'm using a very non-old school musical method here in the studio, which is my record box software. But hey, for the sake of the review, so you can hear there that this is just a quite subtle high pass filter we've got here. And if you want any more EQ, that's where the isolators at the top come in, because they control the total output from these two, right? And so the idea is that you mix with these and you can use a high pass filter to knock a bit of the power out of the outgoing track or whatever, and use these at the top to EQ the overall output from the mixer. And you know what, I really like that. That to me really fits in with what I was doing with it, which was DJing with 7-inch singles, because ultimately I'm not doing anything flash, and I just like to be able to make sure that the new track dominates. A bit high pass filter will sort that out, and then depending on how old the 7-inch is, how worn it is, how well produced it was, I've got the EQ at the top here to just balance the overall output from the mixer, and that's all that I need. It's all I want, you know, compared to what I was using before, which was 2 up faders, and that was it. This is rocket science, right? There are more features on here though. So this feature here is the way you add effects if you want to. It's an auxiliary send, and an auxiliary send will send out from this channel to the back of the mixer to the effects output here, which is here. So these two, well, I'm trying to do my finger in mirror image on my screen here. These two here, this left and right auxiliary output, you can plug into, say, an effects unit or an effects pedal or whatever, and you can then, from that effects pedal, pull it back in to these ones here, right? And so that decides how much of the signal gets sent out to that. And then you've got the return here, which is bringing the signal back in. And that way you can add effects if you want to. Like you might want to add some echo or something and have a foot pedal controlling it, whatever you want. Apart from that, there's nothing else on here to tell you about that you haven't seen before. We've got a master and booth output, which of course are the master and booth output controls here. There's also a record output here, which is what I've got myself plugged into. Actually here, the record output, which is pre any volume controls on the top. And you've got your headphones. You've got your headphones mix, and you've got your headphones volume. Very, very loud headphone amplifier here, and a headphone split as well, a mono split should you want that. And that is it. That is this mixer. I've just explained to you what it is and what it does. It's there if you value sound quality. I mean, these guys do valve mixers as well, which, you know, this might make you think that this has got old-fashioned valves in it and stuff, but no, it's modern, analog but modern inside. They do valve gear as well, which I'm sure sounds lovely, but I have to tell you, this does sound absolutely beautiful. Sounds, especially when you're playing with 7-inch singles, just sounds so nice. So it's got beautiful sound quality, beautiful build quality. Very few features really, but what it does do, it does extremely well. It's got professional inputs and outputs around the back. It's certainly not going to be for you if you're a digital DJ, if you want effects, if you want fast mixing, if you want to do all the stuff that modern gear gives you so well. But if you want to strip back to basics and just concentrate on something that sounds really good and that lets you do something that connects you to DJing how it was done, hey, half a century ago, this could be it. But just as an final thing to end with, I've been using it with this, the little Denon DJ DVS interface with Serato on my laptop, and little beautiful 7-inch vinyl from Serato. They do 7-inch timecode vinyl, believe it or not, which is a lovely way of combining the old and the new, right? You can take your laptop, plug in, and use a little mixer like this with the little setup I showed you earlier, but play as much music as you want. Or again, you could play it with phase, something else that brings playing with vinyl and kicking and screaming into the 21st century. We've of course reviewed this many years ago, but this is still going strong, still a great way of DJing with vinyl. If you don't know phase, by the way, let's just open it while we're here. I'm ad hocing today's review like a DJ set. This is phase. So the idea with this is that you put these little pucks onto your record decks like this, and then you can control the music using this plugged in place of this with your Serato. We've got a review of this anyway, but hey, I started talking about it, so why not show you? So that's it. That's our review of the Orbit.2 LE. If you want to dig really deep into the version of this with effects on it, then Mojax has got a really good review of it. Mojax, of course, is a certain don of all things rotary mixing. And if you want to know about why rotary mixers are, for some people, the thing that they prefer over old-fashioned mixers with faders. Again, Mojax has talked a lot about this. He's into this stuff a lot more than I am. But for me, this is the first rotary mixer I've ever reviewed. I've thoroughly enjoyed reviewing it. I'm looking forward to putting it through its paces a bit more, maybe adding some external effects with my personal little side project, my 7-inch DJ setup. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know questions, thoughts underneath. This has been Phil in the Digital DJ Tips Studio with the Orbit.2 LE saying get good, get out there, make the moments. See you soon.